Scrum meeting cadences. Meetings are often called cadences in Scrum, implying that they always keep happening. They become a part of the operating rhythm of the Scrum team. Every sprint, there are meeting cadences that always happen no matter what. The Scrum framework has the following meeting cadences: sprint backlog refinement meetings, level of effort estimation, sprint planning meetings, daily stand-ups, sprint demo, also known as sprint review, sprint retrospectives. Let's break down the meetings. Backlog refinement. During backlog refinement, teams get together and discuss the work that's being documented before it starts. They discuss whether the work is feasible, what the design members and development members think need to be considered or included, how complex is the work. Scrum Master Duty owns this in the Scrum method. The product strategy function owns this work in Tech Fleet. Backlog refinement should be a daily task for product teams. The results should be tasks for the team that are ready to be taken on in sprints. This could be for research, design, or development. Sprint planning meetings. Sprint planning meeting is a meeting where the entire team gets together and plans their next upcoming sprint. Product strategy teams should rely on the team to consult in priorities based on current and previous work, and the entire team should align together in the goals. Scrum Master Duty owns this in the Scrum method. The product strategy function owns this work in Tech Fleet. Teams do this before every sprint begins. The outcomes of this meeting are sprint goals, an updated project roadmap, and refined backlog tasks if needed. Level of effort estimation meetings. Level of effort estimation is an activity where teams estimate the complexity of upcoming work. Level of effort should be measured for all kinds of work, research, design, and development alike. Teams should gauge level of effort for their work so that they have an idea of what's too much work for a given iteration and can track the changes over time. Measuring level of effort changes team to team. The overarching goal of an agile team each iteration is to finish what they commit to. If they have committed to too much work and can't finish, they should reduce the scope of the iteration's work itself. This is important to continually progress in delivery of the work and avoid work that is in progress for too long without delivering. In order to do this successfully, teams must measure the effort levels of tasks in their backlog. This helps to holistically understand how much work is too much for the team in one iteration. Depending on the Agile method, teams may plan entire iterations like Scrum method or pick up one-off tasks as they are ready for the work like Kanban method. All methods of Agile require teams to measure their effort. This may lead to breaking down tasks or splitting them out into separate tickets and will save teams from unfinished work at the end of iterations. Each team is highly unique in the case of how much work they can get done in one iteration. It depends on their skills, their availability, and a lot of other things. The methods of measuring level of effort remain the same, but the number of stories each team can get done in one iteration is highly variable and changes team to team. Learn how to measure level of effort in the next lesson. Velocity is measured in story points per sprint. For instance, you describe the velocity of the team by saying the team's velocity is 20 story points per sprint. The team can finish 20 story points of work on average every sprint. Scrum Master Duty owns this in the Scrum method. The product strategy function owns this work in Tech Fleet. The product strategy team in Tech Fleet owns this work. Tickets in the backlog should be estimated with their level of effort before they get planned for sprints. This helps the team measure their speed. The outcomes of this are sprint velocity, estimated tickets ready for sprints, and planning poker results. Scrum Master Duty owns this in the Scrum method. The product strategy function owns this work in Tech Fleet. Teams do this before every sprint begins. The outcomes of this meeting are sprint goals, an updated project roadmap, and refined backlog tasks if needed. Sprint planning meeting is a meeting where the entire team gets together and plans their next upcoming sprint. Product strategy teams should rely on the team to consult in priorities based on current and previous work, and the entire team should align together in the goals. Scrum Master duty owns this in the Scrum method. The product strategy function owns this work in Tech Fleet. Teams do this before every sprint begins. The outcomes of this meeting are sprint goals, an updated project roadmap, and refined backlog tasks if needed. During the sprint, every day during the sprint, the team doing the work needs to rally around the work. Tasks could be any kind of work: research, design, product management, development, or other kinds of work. The team needs to reflect and take action on adjustments during the sprint so that they can achieve their shared outcomes together. The entire team is responsible and accountable for successful sprint outcomes. At the end of the sprint doors should have finished the work they committed to. Daily stand-ups ache a daily scrum. A daily stand-up is a full team touch base for visibility. Everyone on the team needs to attend stand-up every day to report on their progress. What did you do yesterday? What did you do today? What blockers do you have? The most important aspect of this meeting is identifying blockers for the team. Things that prevent team members from succeeding in their work. Together, the team should discuss what they should do to remove the blockers together. The entire team is accountable to run stand-up. The product owner and Scrum Master should not be attending these meetings. As a self-organized team, the team itself should run and hold these meetings. This happens every day in the sprint with a live or asynchronous 15-minute meeting. At the end of stand-ups, the team should have visibility into the progress of sprint work. Sprint Demo Sprint Review. The sprint demo is a key moment in the sprint lifecycle. The team gets together at the end of their sprint and shows their work in progress. Whatever is half finished or fully finished is shown. They collect feedback from clients and teammates so that they can determine the direction they need to head for the next round of sprint planning. Scrum Master duty owns this in the Scrum method. The product strategy function owns this work in Tech Fleet. This happens at the end of every sprint increment. The outcomes for sprint demos should be feedback collected about work in progress. Sprint retrospectives. The sprint retrospective is a time for the team to get together and reflect. They reflect on their work process and their teamwork together. They discuss what they like that they want to continue, what they learned in hindsight that they want to change, what they lack that they want to change, what they longed for that they want to change. Scrum Master duty owns this in the Scrum method. The product strategy function owns this work in Tech Fleet. This meeting should happen during each sprint increment. The outcomes of Sprint RetroS are the action items that teams agree to take on. Teams also need to update working agreements and document their process changes based on retro items. Schedule of meetings. Before the sprint, teams should refine their tickets, estimate level of effort, and plan their sprints. During the sprints, teams should iterate on their work and perform daily stand-ups. Teams should also take a retrospective of their previous sprint every sprint cycle. At the end of the sprint, teams should perform a sprint demo with their work in progress and start planning their next sprint.